So, Boomer and I are currently in a hotel room in Williamsport or Hagerstown or whatever. Who knows where one ends and the other begins? And he is just down there. He is out once again. Out. He ran about 10 miles in the rain this morning, and when we weren't running, he was shivering. He was miserable. It wasn't very good. But we've made it here, and we checked in about 11, and he ate something and has pretty much been asleep over there ever since. I went out to go get some stuff from the shops. He didn't even budge. He was done. Now, when we began this journey, in my mind, there were a couple of things that were definite pull the pin, we're done kind of scenarios. One is if something happened to me. Obviously, I've got to not look after myself, I've got to look after him. And so if something happened to me, then that would be kind of an end point. The second is if something happened to him, because I'm doing this and I want to do this with him. And if something happened to him, that would be one reason to stop. And the third reason was that if something happened to our transport, our bike, which is over here, if something happened to our bike or the trailer, those are the things that are transporting us where we want to go. So if something happened to them, then well, if it's not fixable, then that would be something that would, I guess, constitute an end to the trip. Well, I have been trying to get around it, but in the end, I think two of those things have happened. One is the bike. The bike is actually ill-suited, very ill-suited for this trip. It's my old commuting bike. I used to commute everywhere in it. It was great for that, and I thought it would handle this well. It's not handling it. It does not. It's Achilles heel. It does not have the gears to handle any hills. Both today and yesterday, we were in towns. 2 days ago, we were in a town, going over hills and all that, and that just kind of really highlighted that to me. As if going on the trail and going on the flat and being in granny gear wasn't enough. The second part of that is today, because it was raining, we were on the trail and it's leaf covered. The front tire actually seized up. We almost wrecked because they were going slow. But we almost wrecked because the front tire seized up because of the leaves accumulated between the tire and the fender, and just had a complete blockage and put enough pressure on the tire that it stopped while we were moving. And thankfully I didn't go over the handlebars or wreck, and Boomer was actually running beside it, not in the trailer, so there wasn't any issues in that sense. But it certainly, again, let me know the bike isn't handling it. It's not coping. And because of its gearing, it's not allowing me to cope with what's coming up ahead, which is the hills for the future. And the second main thing I think that is really a concern on my mind at this point is Boomer. He will ride in the trailer if I make him, and I literally have to pick him up and put him in, because he doesn't want to. He wants to be outside, and I understand that. The problem is, if we do 20-25 miles, he wants to run the whole thing, and he does. And it's not healthy for him. He's a plotter, he's not a runner. It's taken it out of him. I can already see a change in his body weight. He wasn't overweight to begin with. He's a very well exercised dog. He probably got about 2 hours of exercise a day, as it was. But he's losing weight, his condition's going down. He's making noises when he gets up and sits down now that he never makes. I mean, he's got a very high pain tolerance. And for him to make a noise when something's wrong. And the other thing is, you probably noticed in some of the videos, he limps. He's always limped. He's limped since he was young. Because one time he banged his shoulder on something, and it caused a bit of nerve damage, so there's some atrophy in the muscles on that shoulder. And because of that, he limps. Well, it's been really pronounced as he's been running, and the longer he runs, the more pronounced it is. And my concern is that the distances that he's doing is completely unsustainable for him, and it's going to cause more injury either to that shoulder or to the other shoulder trying to compensate, and I don't want that to happen. So because of that, we're going to have to reconfigure how we're going to travel. And so we're packing up. We're going to head back home tomorrow. We'll figure things out. And if it means we have to travel in a different way completely, then I'm okay with that. I've got some ideas for that. I haven't finalized anything, obviously, but I've got some ideas for how that can do. So we can continue to be Boomer's Travels. We can continue to travel, he and I. It'll just have to be in different form, in different ways, and maybe not where we had initially planned on going. But just thought I'd let you know that. That's kind of where we're at, and I will keep you informed on the new developments as they happen. So for now, we'll sign off, and hope back to you very soon. Okay, so Boomer and I are home. We've been home for about a week, and the day after we got home, I took him to the vet, and they did a minor procedure on him in an attempt to forego surgery. He had a hematoma in his left ear, basically his left ear lobe. The whole thing was filled with blood, and he had a lot of blood. They took a couple of vials of blood out of it in an attempt to allow it to heal, which it didn't do. So he had surgery yesterday, and he's now on restricted movements for the next 10 to 14 days. After that, hopefully we can get back on the trail. But we're going to be doing it in a different way. Our original trip design, you can just see him right here. That's the cone he has to wear now because he's not allowed to, well, stop the scratching of the stitches and things. But our initial plan of going across the country is now kaput. It's no longer viable. Not only have we lost the window of opportunity to do it, but just with the fact of his health, his inability to run as much, and my inability to pull him for any other length of time means that we're going to have to do things a little differently. So what I'm hoping to do is in a couple of weeks, when he's got full clearance from the vet, is to go back and do the C&O Canal towpath, but we'll walk the whole thing with him. So he and I will walk it, and we'll still camp and do all that, but we'll walk it, which will be a lot less miles for him to do every day, and hopefully he'll be able to do that. And then after that, my plan is to still continue our travels together, but to do that in a different way. I have some ideas on exactly how that's going to go. I'm thinking maybe some day trips to some other various places, both locally here as well as further afield, and to do videos about our trips there and traveling around to different places in that way. So it's going to be a little different. Won't be on the bike, but it will still continue. So it's a bit of a change in our travels, in our plans, how we're doing things, but won't stop us from doing things, though. Not he and I. So Boomer had surgery yesterday, and he's back to his normal energetic self, although he's on restricted movements for the next 2 weeks. He's not even allowed to go for a walk, so he's very limited in what we can do. But once this period of recovery is done for him, then we're going to look at what our possibilities are.